You're listening to episode 5 of Fresh Floppies.
Yay! What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the mother-loving geek nation? You're currently tuning in to Fresh Floppies, episode...
Cinco.
Yeah. What's a floppy? Real quick, give it to me.
Floppy is a single issue comic book. It's one of those periodicals that's on the rack, on the shelf, on the spinner. It's just one chapter in a long, ongoing story that sometimes spans 80 years.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. And there's not going to be any spoilers, so don't you worry your pretty little noggins about it. This is something that you can listen to on the way to the local comic shop to pick up your books. We're going to give you some recommendations, maybe some... disrecommendations. Is that a word? It is now.
We do not have a negative show.
No.
So
no.
we will. We
will neg you.
Yeah. Are you really going to wear that?
I mean, if that's what you want. Fine.
You know what? It's a strong choice. You do you. But we're never.
You're so brave.
We're never going to be outwardly negative about a book, but when something we don't like, we're going to do our very best to talk about exactly why we didn't like it, and mileage may vary depending on who you are. So there is a book today that we're going to talk about that neither of us really enjoyed, but it's totally worth having a conversation and not to just shit on like some other fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we get started?
Let's jump out of the gate with a book that I think we both enjoyed. I didn't ask your opinion. You know what?
That's true.
You go ahead and start.
Okay, Doctor Strange #1, Legacy numbering 427 came out this week with a glorious painted cover by Alex Ross. So we're going to start with our presentation. Immediately, that is a Doctor Strange cover.
Oh yeah.
All of the layout and all of the snazzy diddle-doos that are on the cover.
Snazzy diddle-doos.
Out the wazoo.
Yeah, just, I mean, all I think is diddle-doos. The globules. Clorbin with their tentacles in the back and stuff.
Yeah. They do be Clorbin. So immediately, I was like, oh, that's the classic Doctor Strange. He's got the classic costume. I'm in. I like this. I'm not a huge Doctor Strange fan, but I'll always try a new #1. And it's written by your dude,
Jed MacKay, with art by
my dude, Pasquale Ferry, who I like very much. He's done a lot of really cool Spidey stuff. And so that's like, oh, that's a good team. I know Noel tells me that the Black Cat that Jed MacKay was doing is awesome.
It is. It still remains to be the best run of. It made me fall in love with Felicia Hardy. I've always kind of just liked her.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's an A+ Marvel character now.
And the Omnibus is coming out, which I'm going to pick up and read because of what you told me.
I have all the trades, or I would jump on that bad boy.
So, all right, this is Jed MacKay. He's continuing his run of Doctor Strange. Am I correct?
Yes, this is kind of one of those disjointed runs kind of thing, but it's really funny. So it started with the Death of Doctor Strange miniseries, which was with art by Lee Garbett, which was really, really good. And they literally killed Doctor Strange. So, and then for the 10 issues after that was just Strange, which was his wife, Clea Strange, picking up the pieces and being the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth while also trying to find him, bring him back, resurrect him, whatever it is. That series concluded, and this is now the relaunch of Doctor Strange, which I guess is like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah. That is one of the first things about this book that I noticed, because I don't have a lot of Doctor Strange history, and I certainly don't have much Clea Strange, letters to Clea experience, but I like this married couple just working together.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that. I love that.
And I guess a quick refresher of Clea Strange. She is, I don't remember or know when they did get married, but it was in another run that I never read. She's the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. She's the niece of Dormammu. And her mom, I forget her name, Lilith or something like that. So she is a murderous dark wizard who just so happens to be in love with a heroic, sometimes morally ambiguous hero in 616.
New kink unlocked.
Yeah, basically. But during her run, which is a great 10 issues, really strong, fun 10 issues, she becomes the warlord of New York and the Sorcerer Supreme of... She's dope. Clea is super dope. And then the back and forth between these two is just so fun. And they at first I was a little kind of like, oh, where's Wong? Because that's a lot of extra energy. You've got a twosome and Bats the dog. So there's no really room for Wong. So they do something different with Wong that I thought was actually really cool on his own little side quest.
Bats is
the dog
from the Jason Aaron run.
Donny Cates.
Oh, the Cates.
Yeah, Donny Cates created Bats.
I'm trying to do some quick Googling to find out when they got married. 1988 maybe.
Oh, while you're doing on the fly research, because that's what this book's all about. I want to talk about the actual book. It's it is a strong book. It's definitely a good jumping on point.
Oh, yeah.
They do just introduce, like, the first page is a 9-panel grid of the last, like, maybe 15 issues of Doctor Strange. I want to talk about Pasquale Ferry for a hot second.
Let's do it.
I do love his work. I've always loved his work, but it feels like he's mimicking almost like a Marcos Martin in the faces.
I do see a little Marcos Martin,
which is I don't love that for him. I miss his acting, his facial acting.
Yeah,
and these look a little cleaner line, or like thinner line, kind of more caricature like Marcos Martin or Javier Rodriguez does. And while I love that also, I guess I was just looking for a little bit more Pasquale Ferry.
Expressiveness.
Yeah.
He is a very creative penciler. His artwork is always, I kind of put him alongside without being too much like Trad Moore. He does have Trad Moore qualities, which I think is perfect for Doctor Strange, but he does feel a little reserved here.
Yeah, I think that's a much more articulate way of saying it there, because there's nothing wrong. I absolutely love the panel layouts.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the progression of the panels, because I had absolutely no issues kind of flowing with the story. It's just every time that we get kind of a close-up on Strange or Clea and their character designs, I just didn't love it. Like, I don't love his haircut. I don't love the mustache being so tiny.
I see.
I like the designs, just the actual like character designs and facial acting just seems so reserved.
Yeah.
And it's obviously a style choice because it's all the main characters.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm thinking Pasquale Ferry on like Thor and stuff, where it's a lot of like grimacing and action. But maybe that'll happen. Either way, it's not like it's a deterrent. This book was fun.
I think it's a gorgeous book.
Yeah, this book was fun as hell.
I do see what you're saying about the facial, the expressions and the acting and what have you.
It's mostly just on Strange, because there's some like excellent Clea scenes in here.
Yeah.
Where she's just bug nuts. I love him drawing Daredevil. But
with the beard and everything.
But yeah, I just and also too, this is recency bias. The last design for Doctor Strange at the end of the Strange run with Clea was so cool.
Was that with the beard and everything?
Yeah,
in the first panels?
Beard and gray hair, because he was doing something for death. He just looked so
his arms
dope.
are all wrapped up. He's like part mummy, part Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very cool. But I do also respect this classic look. Yeah.
I guess I've never liked it, now that I'm thinking about it. Like
it's so much. There's so much happening.
The leopard gloves and the I guess I've just never really dug it.
Yeah.
Every time that there's kind of a the Jason Aaron with the spinning axe and the I've always kind of dug those a little bit more than even the MCU-ish version of robes on top of robes and clasps, as opposed to the like weird dragon bat kind of symbol on a t-shirt look.
Yeah.
I'm not a giant fan of it.
Well, fair enough. They do a thing here that I really like in first issues, and it sort of places the character within the confines of the universe that they're in. So basically, he is a magician. What's the word? People come to him for help. A consulting doctor. So he's a consultant of the mystic arts. And so you kind of get a Spider-Man scene. You get a Luke Cage scene. You get Black Cat, of course. You get Dr. Doom. A nice little thing with Dr. Doom, Daredevil, etc. So I like when the characters are... You have a huge sandbox of characters.
Yeah.
Throw them all in. I love seeing other characters in a solo book.
Agree.
Just to see how they interact.
And Doctor Strange just kind of perfectly plays with all of those other aspects of the universe.
Yeah. So basically the story here is... there's a warlord of another realm, and he winds up murdering somebody in front of both Clea and Doctor Strange, Stephen. and I guess they're both Doctor Strange.
I don't think she's a. I don't think she didn't
doctorate. She didn't go to.
Because I was gonna say they should name the book Doctors Strange, but no, she's not. Cool. She's not a doctor.
And that's a great title. I would love that. And so that guy murders a slave in front of them, and Doctor Strange is like, "All right, we're gonna go." And Clea's like, "What are you? He murdered a dude in front of us.
Yeah.
This will not stand. I cannot abide this."
As the warlord of New York.
Yeah. And then it goes on from there. So it's set up a very interesting conflict between this husband and wife, and I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah, they both have different kind of tactics. I want to take this opportunity to say that the Doctor Strange book, no one talks about it, but it has been a solid monthly comic book for about 5 or 6 years now. The Jason Aaron run was awesome. The Johnny Cates run was awesome. Damnation was awesome. Mark Waid's run was fucking awesome.
Oh, that's right.
And then it went right into Jed McKay. Yeah. Like, people, I think the best, most consistently written book in Marvel is Daredevil. Mm-hmm. It's just run after run of just like awesome, and it's still good. Doctor Strange doesn't get talked about, but it's so there hasn't been too much of a weak point in the last, from my estimation, in the last decade, and it's just slept on.
That's good to hear. I am not, like I said, I'm not a huge Strange fan.
Well, you're stupid.
But I do know that all of those runs have been very solid. I've heard from a lot of people that I like the Jason Aaron run. I'm trying to remember the Donny Cates run.
It was Loki was the Sorcerer Supreme, and he was working as a veterinarian, resurrecting animals.
What? That's awesome.
You should read it. It's wonderful. It's like 10 issues long, and it ends with the Damnation crossover event.
Oh, yeah. That I read. That was fun.
So like it actually
Las Vegas in hell.
In the current solicitations, there is a trade paperback, Doctor Strange by Donny Cates, and it's just all complete collection. Yeah.
Nice. All right, what do you got next?
What's the next one you're going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about Dawn of DC, Superman #2, When Marilyn Moonlight Strikes by Joshua Williamson.
He just read the whole cover to you. I'm surprised you didn't do the actual rest of the indicia.
$4.99
DC
US, ages 13
presents
plus.
#2, Dawn of DC, Superman, #1.
Here's the barcode, 7619. And drawn by Jamal Campbell. There's a Super Sans going on right now, my brother.
Is it a Super Sans yet?
It will be. A couple more issues.
How many issues? How many issues is a Super Sans? This is actually, how many issues is a Sans? This is a decent conversation.
Not to be confused with a Sans.
When do you start doing cartwheels because a book just blows you away? Is it 3? Is it 4?
Well, here's the thing though. I'm including John Kent's Superman. Ever since John Kent became Superman, I have been reading Superman.
I consider that a Taylor Sans because all the Tom Taylor books have been phenomenal.
Well, I would have said that, except now it's Action Comics is also very good, and Superman is very good, and Adventures of Superman is very good.
Okay, I guess it's a Super Sans.
Yes!
We have to take it away from Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor, bring it up.
Yeah.
It's a Nightwing Sans. A Titan Sans.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay,
so, yeah, man, Kal-El's back. This is his second issue. He's now in charge of... he's been left from Lex Luthor, his corporation, which is now called Supercorp, and they have I don't know if they're going through a bunch of villains at this point, because so far it's just what's his name?
I don't know.
Oh, you didn't read it.
I read the first issue. This is all you do.
The Parasite.
Yeah.
It's the Parasite. They are taking the Parasite through multiple mutations and making him more and more badass.
Cool.
It's awesome. It's a very cool idea that they've done. He can now make clones of himself. There's a bunch of them, and every time you defeat one of them, he could just split off into 2 more. Which is look at that. Look at that. It's awesome.
That's very pretty.
And the art by Jamal Campbell is fantastic. And I don't know if Marilyn Moonlight is a redo of a character from previous years, or if this is a brand new character. She feels brand new. And we also run into her a little bit. I'm not going to spoil her. But basically they're dealing with Parasite, who is a classic Superman villain, whose goal is to just drain Superman of his energy, and he gets bigger and grosser as he gets more energy. Except now there's thousands of him, and they're sort of taking over Metropolis, and they've sucked all of the power out of Metropolis, so everything's gone dark. Meanwhile, the past 2 issues, you've got Lex Luthor, who can't hear Superman. They don't have a two-way communique. He just whispers in his jail cell, knowing that Superman can hear every word he says.
Because he pays it like that was in the last issue. He pays attention to some very specific things. He's always paying attention to, like Lois's heartbeat, John's voice, and Lex's voice.
Lex's voice, yeah. So he's just in his jail cell, just whispering. Just sort of taunting Superman, like, you should let me out. I can help you with this. You're an idiot. You're not letting me out. I can fix this.
What's going on with, you know what? No, I'll read it. But I want to say, I did like the first issue a lot. But I was cautiously optimistic and just holding back on until a couple issues kind of
I understand
stack
that.
up.
Like I think we said the last issue that we talked about this. I don't care for Joshua Williamson.
I care for him as a person.
I'm sure he's lovely.
I just,
If you invite him, he'll bring a snack.
Yeah, and it's probably like a good one, not like a packaged one.
Like a homemade...
Like salsa. Like homemade salsa, not
the
twist can shit. And like the good chips, not the ones that fall apart when you dip them. Like I want a chip. I want a chip that could handle a scoop of guacamole, not and break off. That's not how I roll. And I don't think that's how Josh Williamson rolls. No, he is Mr. DC now. And I have maybe only enjoyed about 40% of his output.
20 for me.
I'm always more generous with the percentages than you are. Like I enjoyed Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I enjoyed it more for what happened after than the exercise of reading it.
I enjoyed reading it, and then when it was over, I was like, that was useless.
So I'm hoping this isn't just a strong start. The Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff, I read a good chunk of it, and the Warworld stuff was pretty fun, but it seemed very limited. Yeah. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I highly recommend. If you're even mildly interested in Superman, even if you're not, I'm not interested in Superman. I think this is off to a great start.
This will be. I'm getting my Superman in World's Finest, but this seems like if this is as strong as you say, this is going to be a trade that we probably push on tons of people in the show.
Yeah.
Like it's a good jumping on point, and it's beautiful art. Just we keep pushing this first trade, like Nightwing leaping into the light.
Oh yeah, I do push that on everyone. I would give it, because we're forgetting to do this.
Oh,
this is a pretty fresh.
It's pretty fresh.
3 freshes.
I don't describe numbers because I'm not that important.
It's
what was
almost
Doctor Strange?
very fresh.
What was Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange
pretty
was
fresh. I think it's fresh.
That's not an option.
It's fresh, pretty fresh.
Barely pretty fresh.
Yeah,
pretty fresh. Okay.
Well, is it very fresh? No, it's pretty fresh. It's not very fresh. Very fresh is reserved for.
You know what? If Doctor Strange is pretty fresh, then Superman is very fresh.
Well, what if I said Doctor Strange was very fresh? We don't have to agree.
If I'm giving Doctor Strange a pretty fresh, which I am.
Yes.
This is better than the Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like really fun superheroes.
Yeah. Since you're so obsessed with numbers, would it be 3.5? So that's
yes.
Pretty, very, very pretty.
Yes.
About. What's another adjective that's
pretty.
In between?
Yeah.
It's
mostly.
It's mostly fresh.
It's mostly fresh. Yeah.
What are we talking about next?
Your book. Oh, Neighbors. We're going to do Neighbors? Let's do Neighbors.
I'll
tell you Neighbors. Boom Studios by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, with art by Letizia Cardonici and Alessandro Santoro. This is a brand new number 1 with a glorious, right off the bat, my favorite cover of the week.
Yep.
Who painted this? Logo designer, boopity boop bop boop. Empty Air, variant cover. Oh, main cover by Miguel Mercado. We'll see if that might be him. Anyway, this as soon as this came in, I went, I'm going to read that. And it's right up my alley. It looks spooky. It's got a hand-painted cover. The expression of the teen girl in the leather jacket keeps pulling my eye to it. It's just really well done. The facial acting on it is wonderful. The paper, very as usual with Boom, they got the really nice cardstock with sort of a satin matte finish on it, which feels nice on the fingies. And then we opened the book, and I went through the whole issue a little confused. The art, who apparently is the artist from Something is Killing the Children?
What?
House of Slaughter?
That's not Werther, but it does have the same kind of style.
I feel like there were a lot of storytelling problems.
Yeah.
I was confused, extremely confused by the end. Certain things like, simple things like, okay, this is a grown woman and not a teenager.
Yeah.
And has a teenage daughter, but looks like a teenager when we first meet her. I kind of assumed when she first came in to get the little kid from the front yard of the old lady, the witchy lady. I was like, oh, okay, that must be her the little boy's teen sister. Nope, that's his mother, and she also has a teen daughter. So just like drawing different ages was a problem here.
This, without getting, we could talk. I don't even know if we need to talk about the plot really, because it's so far there. It's kind of like spooky things in a house, and I don't know what's happening.
Yes,
but
and there's something wrong with the neighbors.
Yeah,
That's the name of the book.
So this is a pretty good example of just near missing with the language of comic books. Mm-hmm. So comic books are meant to be kinetic energy from panel to panel to draw your eye, and your eye or your brain does the fills in the gaps in between, because like the comic book art is just, it's supposed to be kinetic enough to just draw you from panel to panel so you perceive motion.
Yes.
It also should do that with the plot, where even if they skip two people talking about something, it should have kind of that fill in the gap in your mind of like, oh, they had that conversation, now they're in the other room. You don't need to see them walking into the other room. Just like with an edit in a movie, you just perceive it. This works about 75% of the time, where there will be a scene and then a progression that just is jarring, and it feels like a scene was edited out and now these people are over here. Mm-hmm. But then there's also times when the camera, for lack of a better word, the camera or the point of view shifts from left to right, and I don't know if I'm in the same scene or if that's the same person or if it's a new person that's talking or making a threat. It just feels like they randomly edited out chunks of scenes, and it is not a very smooth read, which it was a little upsetting, because I think there's probably a really good spooky story in here. Yeah. One of the things that I did like a lot was they juxtapose the idea of haunted supernatural with trans panic, which I thought was really cool. The patriarch of the house is a trans male, and he is just almost obsessively thinking that they clocked me, they see me. Yeah. He has a underlying fear about every interaction he has. And that is a really, really interesting thing to play with, when normally it's in your mind, but this time it might not be. Let's do something with this. But even that interaction and that kind of tension is sidelined and not really explored. Yep. I think there's just too much going on here. Yeah. Yet. Yeah.
I think there's probably going to be more down the line. But I'm interested in what's happening. As far as I can tell, what's happening. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They've set up these mysteries that I think are more mysterious than it's supposed to be, because I find the storytelling to be mysterious itself. I don't know from panel to panel sometimes what's happening, like you said. Especially when night draws down and the neighbors start visiting the house.
I thought it was one neighbor.
You thought it was one neighbor, but it's two neighbors, but they're having the same conversation that we just had. Yeah. And I couldn't tell if they were at a new house or if this was a new person on a different night. I couldn't quite tell. The transitions between the scenes were so confusing. And then the dad leaves the house, and then the little girl, the teen girl, grabs the dad's hand, and then all of a sudden, is he inside the house?
He wakes up inside the house, and then
he wakes up.
She seems different.
Oh, he wakes up. That's him waking up.
Yeah.
Didn't get that.
Again, it's like... so we are very used to reading big two professional comics. It's just like with film criticism or just understanding the language of film, you could tell when something is like, even if it's just not very good or you don't like it, you could tell how maybe expertly crafted it is.
Sure. Yeah.
This feels more like a student film versus
Yes.
a big budget production.
Excellent.
Right?
Or not even big budget.
Just a yeah, you're right. A professional production.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels more like good ideas haphazardly put together versus good ideas, even basic ideas, expertly crafted and presented as such. You know.
Yeah.
It's maybe I'm probably not gonna read issue 2.
No. No.
Yeah.
I would like to. I want to because this seems right up my alley. I love Boom. I love the cover. I love spooky shit. But this one just doesn't really do it for me. You know what it is? That teen girl looks a little bit like Allison Willow, the actress.
I don't think so. Oh, the teen.
The teen.
Sure.
See? Give her red hair, and that's Willow. Anyway.
I vehemently disagree with you.
That's fine.
Hey,
We're no longer friends.
Maybe this is a maybe we'll realize or find out later on that this is a tale of trade paperback versus issue. Maybe this shouldn't have been issues. I still contend that there are some comic books that should not be issue comic books because they don't actually tell sequential stories so much as we're gonna just randomly chunk apart this 120 page story.
That may work better in a trade. Yeah.
If you had
it's possible.
15 more pages of this, maybe it would have actually like hooked you more as a first chapter. But anyway, I'm going to talk about a book that you didn't read because you don't like reading.
I do hate it.
Oh, what would you give this?
Oh,
Neighbors.
Neighbors gets a barely fresh 1.
I'm going to go with a barely fresh also, and it's not for lack of trying. Just not there for me. I'm going to talk about Swamp Thing, Green Hell, #3, written by Jeff Lemire with art by Doug Mahnke with Sean Mole.
I love Doug Mahnke.
So this is a 3-issue dark label book.
Black label.
Black label? It's a dark book by Black Label. It is in the... But let's do presentation. This is the super prestige format. Is that what they call it? Super prestige?
I don't know.
There was a word that they were like... Didio created a word for this. It was ultra prestige or super prestige.
Sure.
It's the magazine sized...
Perfect bound,
glossy print.
Oh, hey, for anyone who doesn't know, perfect bound, when you're looking at a comic book or a publication, perfect bound is when there is a nice, crisp edge to the binding.
It's glued binding.
It's glued, as opposed to most comic books, which are stapled in the middle.
Yeah, it's the difference between like a tabloid magazine or a, I don't know. What magazines are still perfect bound?
I have no idea.
Maxim?
I don't read magazines. Maxim? Is that still a magazine?
I don't know.
Wow.
That's last time I bought magazines, I was
Puberty, the
17,
magazine.
18, and it was Maxim. Leave me alone. So, Green Hell. This I read the first issue of this a little over a year ago when it came out.
Oh, is that? I thought it was longer than that, but go on, yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was a little over a year ago. And then issue 2 never came out. But then it did a month ago, and now issue 3. This is a 3-issue miniseries. It's basically post-apocalyptic. The human population is dwindled to barely nothing in a spoiled planet, and the parliaments, the Parliament of the Rot, the Parliament of the Green, the Parliament of the Red, which is plants, animals, and decay, decide collectively, none of us are getting fed. Plants aren't growing, new people aren't being born, and that means new things aren't dying. Let's just kill everything and start over.
Nice.
So the parliaments work together to completely eradicate the rest of humanity. In order to do that, they need a new avatar of the green, a new green.
As the kids say, that's a mood.
Yeah, a new Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
They pick a abusive, murderous piece of shit to become the Swamp Thing, and he just starts laying waste to other humans.
Oh, I see, because they need some... Right, that makes sense.
At the end of issue 1, some villagers go and seek the help of a recluse to help them kind of figure out what to do, and that happens to be a elderly John Constantine.
Yes, my dude.
This is issue 1, so I'm not spoiling all of it. John Constantine helps resurrect Alec Holland, and now it's Swamp Things versus Swamp Things in order to save what's left of humanity, and the Parliaments are the bad guys.
Neat.
It is a big, messy, fun, goopy book. It's Black Label, so it's rated R in language and content. It is a horror book. It's
Do we see Swamp Thing's dick?
No, no, but it's implied.
That's a reference to the first Black Label book, which was a Batman book, in which we saw the outline of the Batawang.
The Batwing.
Yeah,
we saw Bruce's Wayne.
Ha!
This was a fun horror read. Now it's very self-contained. Having knowledge or read other
give me that.
Swamp Thing in the past, obviously I got references. First of all, the green, the red, the rot, who some legacy characters are, even who you having that kind of knowledge is awesome. Needing it is not important. This is very much kind of a very standalone kind of fun book, which was the point of Black Label.
Yeah.
Just like kind of jumping in, telling a full story, and then jumping out. I am hit or miss with Lemire. This was fun.
Yeah.
Doug Monkey's art is better in the first 2 issues than the third. The third seems a little rushed. However,
it does look a little rushed.
His stuff is just so kind of visceral anyway that it's mostly forgiven.
Excuse me.
Breathe, don't die. Could have cut that out, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a fun book. You're spoiling it for yourself.
I'm just looking at the art, really. Yeah, man. I love Doug Monkey. He's one of my all-time faves. And there was a period of time there where he was getting so crisp and clean with his artwork that he and Peter J. Tomasi had work by... Who was drawing a lot of the Pete J. Tomasi stuff?
It was Gleason.
Mm-hmm. That he and Gleason were a little inseparable, stylistically. Gleason started off as a Monkey rip, and then started to develop into his own style. But then because Doug Monkey was getting more and more crisp with his inking, or whoever was inking him,
Christian Alame
started to be a little bit samey. And this, Doug Monkey with Sean Mole. And it doesn't really say, it just says artists. Doug Monkey and Sean Mole.
So here's issue. I'm going to give you issue 2 because I have it right here.
Yeah.
And it's Doug Monkey only.
Oh.
So I'm assuming he's inking himself.
Oh, that is better.
Having an inker on the other one.
Yeah.
It took a year between issues 1 and 2, so I'm assuming maybe they developed issues 2 and 3 together or closer to each other in order to speed along the solicitation process. Either way, they're strong. It's not so egregious that it's like, oh my god, this is a different artist.
No, it's very loose.
Doug Monkey is I associate him very closely with Final Crisis and yeah, he picked J.G. Jones couldn't get more than 2 issues a year out. Yeah. Doug Monkey filled in the back half.
Oh, okay.
And Green Lantern after that.
Yeah, Green Lantern, yeah.
He is I associate Ivan Reis and Doug Monkey with Green Lantern 10 times more than I do with EVS.
Oh, I don't associate that guy with anybody other than the dick shittery.
His designs are very, very ingrained in the late 90s, early 2000s DC universe. That's just, you can't fight it. It's annoying. But Gleason, Tomasi, Gibbons, Doug Monkey, and Ivan Reis are Green Lantern as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry, Johns. But whatever. But yeah, this is pretty fresh. This is really fun. I think it's going to get collected very soon in a nice hardcover. But yeah, this was a fun horror book. It read like a movie. Yeah, it really did. It read very cinematic, and it's very good.
I can't wait to read the collected edition. I read the first issue when it dropped. I was very excited about it.
It's good.
And then I even was worried that I forgot to order it for my customers. I was like, whatever happened to issue 2? And I had to oh, okay, it never happened. Okay, great.
Basically, yeah.
So it just finally 2 and 3 finally came out. I'm looking forward to picking this up in a collection.
It's a very pretty book. It's good. There was that period at the beginning of Black Label. Yeah. These super prestige or ultra prestige one and dones were coming out like nobody's business. We were
Harleen.
That was great. Question, Batman Damned, the Birds of Prey one. Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. Hellblazer. There were so many good ones, and then it just kind of dried up. I guess it's
Yeah.
probably going to be something that they're not doing much anymore.
That sucks. I like this initiative.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Black Label is still around. It's just not this super ultra prestige big books. It's the Tom King of it all. He's got like 3 Black Label books going on.
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do we got?
Let's talk about ASM.
Yeah,
oh wait, this was Pretty Fresh.
You said
Pretty Fresh.
Yeah.
Okay, I said it.
Yeah. Pretty
ASM.
Fresh 3.
Amazing Spiderman.
Number 22, legacy numbering 916 by Zeb Wells, John Romita Jr., and Scott Hanna. This is continuing the story arc you've been waiting for, which is what kicked off this entire run 22 issues ago. And I'm enjoying it. I think this is fun. I think the presentation is, as we say every week, Marvel's got the regular covers.
Not that great.
Not great. The covers, the cover illustration by John Romita Jr. is nice. You've got a sort of white, god just ripping into Spider-Man's head.
Way up.
Wyatt.
I have the Stefano Caselli cover.
Oh, that is nice. And they do something cool here when they're explaining what happened a year ago. Mm-hmm. And MJ and Spider-Man being ferried off to another dimension where New York has been destroyed. Basically, it's a crater. And is that Paul?
Yeah.
And then we meet Paul. That's how we met Paul, who winds up being MJ's new beau.
And he is a native of this other dimension.
I don't think
stuck there.
He's
a native.
He got stuck there.
He's stuck there in a tomb with all this other tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the neat thing, because I was looking at this bad guy who we first met in Amazing Spider-Man 355, I think.
Oh, forever ago, like 10, 15 years ago.
So long ago. And I was like, this guy, who cares about this guy? Not me. I still don't care about this guy. But what I do care about is kind of the neat idea. Remember when Jerry Michael Straczynski came along and he started talking about spider totems?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This actually pulls from that as well. Mm-hmm. And then we get, what did he call them? Quantum...
It's symbology, like the power of symbols.
Yeah.
Like math, totems, glyphs, this science that he studies and the emissary studies is the idea that symbols have power, and in some sort of configuration you're able to harness that power, whether it be with tech or with travel or with anything else. And these guys were obsessed with it, and kind of that's the source of all this stuff. Like all the emissary, this Rubin guy, Rabin has these symbols all over his body. It's to harness those types of powers. Yeah. So like
quantum symbology.
There you go. It's cool. It's like it is very comic booky in the most positive way.
Yeah, agreed. What did you think?
I thought this was fun as hell. Like I really didn't like that first issue, but it was enough to kind of like, all right, so where are we going? This idea that I guess spoiler free. This idea that what the spider symbol kind of is really funny. Mm-hmm. Harnessing that kind of power. I love the idea of Peter just kind of like being able to, let me play with this tech I've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah. And I saw what was going to happen a mile away, but I'm actually really okay with it. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised that the issue ends at that first moment of this whole run. It happened a little fast. I'm like, oh, that reveal is only the beginning of the story. And I thought like it's these are all very familiar comic book tropes. Mm-hmm. But Zeb Wells just does them so well. I just play along with it, and it's fun. Yeah. This is just fun. Yeah, I like it a lot.
It's just really fun Spider-Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's well.
All right. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give it a Pretty Fresh.
Oh, yeah, Pretty Fresh for me. I'm enjoying this run. 22 issues in, and I'm still having fun. Yeah, I want to talk about one more book really fast that you have not been reading, but I've just been enjoying how bugnut stupid it is. Yeah. It's Punisher number 10 by Jason Aaron with art by Jesus Saez and Paul Azaceta.
Oh, Azaceta, is he back?
Well, he's been the whole time. He's been doing both artists do different eras of Frank. Yeah. So Azaceta is doing the flashbacks of him and Maria married and the bar fights and weird shit he gets into, while Jesus Saez is doing the just absolutely insane hand demon the Beast stuff with Punisher. So like I guess the pitch of this is just that the Hand has been grooming Frank Castle for decades to become the like right hand of the Beast, the god of murderers, the just
saint of killers, if you will.
The terminology is malleable. The whole first chunk of this was, they bring his wife and his kids back, and he's going to do whatever they want for him, but they're only able to get the wife back, so he's just fighting for Maria. And it's insane. It's absolutely insane. He murders so many people, keeps getting powers, and now it's to the point where he's walking on water, flying, able to see people as their sins, and knows if he should kill them or not.
That's awesome. Really takes a lot of the guesswork out of punishing.
Basically. Which,
nice.
The way that this issue ends, I think he kind of realizes that also. But it's just, this is ridiculous. But it's working. I really, really am enjoying it because, I mean, it's wildly different than other Punisher books.
Yeah.
But it's not a betrayal of any of those other Punisher books. Even the flashbacks that they're doing, Jason Aaron is filling in some gaps. Like the first person that Frank killed.
Oh.
He was a boy at the time. And it's just like he paints that picture. He paints a different picture of PTSD, how they decided to have children, when they decided to have children. All of this stuff is like new information, but it's not negating any of the information that we had before.
Yeah.
But then it's juxtaposing it with this really insane godlike powers of the Punisher, which doesn't seem like it should gel with this character. But I'm having so much fun with it. And the art by Jesus Saez is just so freaking good.
Next level, man. That is some nice art.
The first, this is issue 10. It's a 12-issue series. The first 6, I think, are getting, at least that's how it was originally solicited, and it seems like it's ramping up to the end.
Oh, okay.
The first 6 have been collected, and it's basically Punisher versus Ares, the god of war.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Oh.
It's just straight awesome. So I would highly suggest picking up this first trade. It's really fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a little bored. There's a fine line when you're reading Punisher stuff, when I'm reading Punisher stuff, between, okay, look, there's a house full of mobsters and they're having dinner, and Punisher goes in and he kills them all, and that's the issue. Okay, cool. We've done that 9,000 times. And then sometimes we get Punisher Marvel Knights, where he's like an avenging angel with a glowing symbol on his forehead, and he's able to materialize supernatural weapons and stuff.
I skipped that.
Yeah, it was not good. This sounds fun. I read the first couple of issues of this just because I love Jason Aaron, and he really does have a way to come into a book and do big bonkers kooky shit and still feel like it works.
Yeah. So, it's that's pretty much it. Big bonkers, wanky shit, wonky,
big
wanker shit.
Wanker shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun, and I enjoy it. Like the Punisher is just, there's only so much you could do, at least in my estimation. There's only so much you could do with that like baseline of his characterization. Yeah. I do enjoy when they go crazy and then revert it. So like Frankencastle, I thought was stupid but fun. Yeah. And it went back. It's fine. Yeah. Him trying to be a superhero, a la the Civil War era, it was stupid. It was crazy. That's cool. Let's revert back. Like I think that the character is malleable enough to just kind of like go really, really crazy and then kind of ease it back to keep that baseline fresh. Like what's better? It'd be great to read just a basic Mafia Punisher book after it goes to the wall here, and then we come back like a year later and do a simple story, and it keeps it kind of fresh.
Speaking of Jason Aaron and Punisher, I do want to say there is a really great Jason Aaron run that he's already done on the
Punisher Max with Dylan.
Punisher Max with
Steve
Dillon. Yeah, I think Max Dillon. I'm like, no, that's the Electro. Very, very good. I think that also was about 12 issues. And it was like a Elseworlds version of Frank, where he's already like 65 years old. He's been doing this a very long time. And now we're starting to introduce Bullseye, Kingpin, Elektra, stuff like that. Very, very good book.
Yeah, I actually read it for the first time 2-3 years ago. Yeah. During the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's I want to say it's like 16, 17 issues. It came out in it's like volume 6 of Punisher Max collected edition. 7. It was good. The only thing that Steve Dillon is one of the best artists that's ever lived.
Yeah.
But everyone looks about 20 years too young.
Yeah.
Like the story keeps telling me that he's 60, nearly 60, but he looks beautiful with jet black hair.
Yeah. He's a sight.
Yeah.
He's a sight to behold. He's a wonder.
I think this series is pretty fresh, and I'm very excited to see where it's going next.
Great.
Especially if it's got a kind of stake in the ground ending, which I'm hoping it'll have.
What does that mean?
Putting your flag in the ground, a stake in the ground.
Oh, like that? It's done.
A definitive.
We're done.
A definitive ending of some point.
Unlike Hickman's X-Men.
Well, yeah. If Hickman leaves the book, like if Jason Aaron leaves this book and it's just amorphous as to what's happening next, then yeah, sure, I wouldn't be. But he went about this seemingly telling a very specific story with a finite conclusion.
Yeah.
Just the way that it's presented, I'm looking forward to the end,
Great.
whether it's 12 or 13, I don't know.
Yeah. Awesome. And that's very fresh?
Yeah, I think it's very fresh. Well, like if I'm this issue alone, pretty fresh. The whole series, very fresh. I'm very much enjoying this.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So where can the people find you? This is the last of the books this week. Oh, is there anything else you're looking forward to this week?
New
Nightwing?
I can't think of a single.
New World's
Sure. But I have to
Finest.
catch up on Nightwing though.
You are a garbage.
I'll tell you what. You know what? Yes. You have made me read the Jason Aaron Avengers run.
Yep.
So I have started with issue 1. I am now about to get into the War of the Vampires.
That's my favorite run.
Blade has joined the Avengers, and I am catching up on that. And that has been just a dollop of delicious fun. Really
Did you get to
enjoying it.
child thing yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, so no.
Man things.
No.
A little man thing.
No. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
This is the best.
It was like little Jaro
It's legit
man
the best.
things.
Am I a sucker for
little baby
versions of things?
Yeah, I am.
Like chibi versions of things?
Yeah.
Starro, I miss you.
Jaro.
I miss you. If anyone's from DC listening to this, hey,
Bring back Jaro.
bring back Jaro.
Yeah.
The best Robin.
Yeah. It's true.
Saying it now.
Yeah.
The best Robin is Jaro.
You can find me at Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex. It's a comic book store located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. You can also check me out tonight, Wednesday night. We're going to be live streaming at 8 o'clock. We're going to be doing part 3 of...
Oh, the greatest comic book movies ever made, not Marvel or DC.
Yeah. So check us out there. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that nasty, fun shit that your mama wants you to do.
Yeah, follow us on social media. Twitter at CultPopGo. Yeah. And, we'll talk at you later.
Thank you for listening to the Cult Pop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.